This video comes straight from the heart. There's no script to this. I'm just going for it. I want to talk about the paradox of life, essentially. Now, the idea that this comes from and where I've been thinking about this is I notice that when I'm in a moment that I really enjoy, and when we're in moments that we really find valuable, you want to keep hold of the moment as best as you can. You want to recognize that, oh, I'm in one of those times that I'm going to look back and enjoy. But then by doing that, you thrust yourself out of the moment that you're looking to enjoy. So now you're no longer enjoying what it is that you're trying to enjoy. But if you don't make a note of it and recognize that, oh, I'm in this time that's really valuable to me and I'm enjoying myself. If you don't do that, you can fall into the trap of then coming out the other side of it the day after or a few days after, whenever, and feeling like you wasted it. And the difficulty that I'm having, and the reason that I want to talk about this today, is how to strike a balance here so that you don't feel like you're fucked either way. Because this is the problem that I find myself in, is I don't want to take away from the moment that it truly is, because by looking into something and thinking, oh, I need to make sure that I'm having I need to make sure that I know I'm having a good time, you pull yourself out of that flow state that allows you to have the good time. So if that's not the answer, then what is the answer? Because if you're anything like me, if you don't pay attention to the moment at all and you really go through the motions and put yourself there, then you come out the other side like I am today, and that's why I'm making the video, feeling shit about it. Because you think, oh man, I had that moment, I really enjoyed my time there, and now it's gone. And when you do that, it just feels shit. It just feels shit. And I'm trying my best to strike this balance. And to be honest, the aim of today's video, more so than giving any advice, is just to talk about things. And hopefully someone else feels this way, and just having someone that knows how it feels is helpful. And as I talk, I'm just going to try and go through what I can, just to see where it goes. I find this on a larger scale occurs across life, in the sense that I live and I love great things. We all do. We all love the nights out that are brilliant, the days out that are fantastic, the moments and the memories to cherish. Even if you're a hustler, even if you're someone that puts the work in and gets the grind going, it's those moments, the really fun times, are what we live for in that sense. Now, I'm not pulling away from the fact that you have to enjoy the monotony of life and you have to enjoy the little parts, but this is the paradox that I come across. Is I love the great stuff. We all love the great stuff, but then the great stuff doesn't come around all the time. You have to wait for the great stuff. So if you don't learn how to enjoy the little stuff as if it was the great stuff, then you're stuck. And then what happens is you cling more and more and more to the great times, and then the rest of the time doesn't come as good. And then what happens at that point is, because the rest of the time isn't as good and you're relying on that time, then that's got more expectation on it. And when that has more expectation on it, then it's more likely to not do what you want it to do. So the solution that I find myself in with this is, the more that I work and the more that I put effort in through the week to create something and work something and be something, the more I enjoy any leisure that I afford myself, usually on the weekend. So the balance to strike here is to do enough work to feel happy about going and doing something else, but then not doing too much work that you don't enjoy that thing. Because the paradox again that I find myself in is, if I fixate too much, I won't go out, because I need to do this, I need to do this work, and I need to be here, and I need to make sure this is done, and if I haven't done X amount of pages today, then I can't enjoy my night because I haven't done what I need to do. I'm a failure. And it's this sort of OCD feeling that really can be a serious problem when it comes to improving and just generally enjoying life. Because what seems to happen with me is the more that things go well, the more that I try and manufacture them to continue going well. So I'll fall into kind of patterns and habits, like I'll make sure that I put my shoes in a certain way, because if I don't, rather than just chucking my shoes down on the floor, I'll make sure that my shoes are the way that they should be. Otherwise, that's like that's complacency seeping in through this one little thing. And this is the difficulty that I personally find with self-improvement. And I'm gonna stop using that buzz phrase, because it's kind of pissing me off using that every video. Just getting better is you try and hold it. You try and make sure that you're not going to do anything that fucks it up, and you're not going to put yourself in a position in which you just find a cascading effect occurring. You don't want to not put your shoes down in the right way, and then all of a sudden, oh, now I can't get into the right workflow, and I'm sleeping too much, and all this and all of that. And this is the paradox that I find myself in. The more I try to control, the less control I have. The more I try to be happy, the more pressure I put on that, and the less enjoyment I get out of the other things. You have to live for the small moments, but you have to love the small and the large moments equally in part. And it's the dance of life. And to be honest, when I'm in the right head frame to think about it, it's brilliant. And that's the message that I want to put forth to people, is that it is brilliant. The fact that there is this puzzle and this dance to be had with life, where you have to work things out, and you have to strike that perfect balance between things. It's amazing. And to be honest, the perspective that I would put forth is, it's like a game. The way that life is made is entirely like a game. You do things, you learn things, you change things. And I think the lesson that I would like to branch into with this is that life is not always alright, and when it's not alright, that's fine. Now, I find myself, to be honest, at this point in time, I'm in a really good workspace. I'm doing exactly what I need to be doing almost invariably. But as I said, the reason I make this video is because today and the last few days, I haven't felt so good, because I've been so enthralled in this idea of capturing moments and keeping in moments. I'm with my best friends, and rather than being there and recognizing that I'm there, I'm desperately clinging on to each minute, because I don't want it to go. And by doing that, one, it goes faster, and two, you don't enjoy it as much. So by trying to control, you repel. And I don't really know how to deal with that. Because the problem is, I don't want to feel like the moment passes me. But in that feeling, that is where the true joy comes. That is where the joy is of those moments that you look back, is the fact that you weren't in your own way. You weren't in your own way thinking, oh, make sure that this is all right, make sure this is all right. You were just being exactly who it is as yourself. You were being the quintessential version of yourself, and you were just letting things happen. Now, my thinking leads me to believe that this is just a trade-off of sorts, that maybe I will just look back at these times and think, oh, I wish I was there. Well, yeah, because they were good times. And that's the thing, is, would you take the trade-off of, I look back and wish I could, oh man, that was such a good night, I wish I could experience that again? Do you look at that, but have the moment to recognise that, wow, that was a really good night, I really enjoyed myself? Is that an appropriate trade-off? Well, the more that I think about it, yeah, it is. Because I'd rather at least wish that I could experience something fantastic again, with recognition of the fact that this method of thinking will ascertains another version of this, than just be stuck in my own way all the time and not actually enjoy the moment that I find myself in. And that's the thing that I'm doing my best to remember, and I prompt anyone that's in the same position to remember, is when you look back at a moment and think, oh man, that was so good, I really enjoyed that, you are inadvertently recognizing that you have the capacity to enjoy that sort of moment. And by looking back at this moment, you're not recognizing as such that that can happen again. You know, to be honest, I'm doing my best from now on just to keep these videos as personable as possible. And a period of time, I'm going to speak in the wrong way, and I'm going to talk more about myself in a way to try and push it forth to you. But I just want to become as close to personable as I can, because I think that's where I can really help. But anyway, I've been really stuck up on the weekend that's just gone. I had a fantastic time, and because I live my life in such a simple way, and this is the contract of choosing to get better at things, is you just do the same thing all the time. You do, if you're someone who endeavors to do anything that improves you and progresses you, and specifically if that thing is improve yourself, see, I didn't say it the right way around, then you do the same thing all the time. You will read, write, work out, and work out, eat good food. You do the same thing every day. You sit in front of the same TV, watching the same or probably not the same Andrew Huberman video, otherwise you're a fucking idiot. Watching the same sort of thing, taking the same sort of notes. It's just the same thing every day. And this is what I came to realise, is that there's a kind of romance to the monotony, in the sense that that is the way to be, because that's just the feeling of having a purpose. And it's not all rosy when you choose to do something great. In fact, 90% of the time it's not. And that feeling is great. Once you kind of get these moments of recognition in which you go, you know what, this might be kind of boring, but this is the best sort of boring. This is the sort of boring that will make tomorrow better, and that's fine. But in living that way, when you choose, as you should, and I'll put that out there, I don't give a fuck what anyone says. If you work for yourself, you do the work, you put it in, and you're going towards something, then go out on the weekends. Go and do something on the weekends, because it is worth. You need to strike this balance of enjoying both, and this is where I'm coming to, is just go and enjoy yourself a few times. Because you are the way you are in the week, the weekend is so much better. The weekend is fucking awesome. If you're going out with your friends on the weekend and going for it, you're going to have such a good time, because you've earned that. You've spent your time so well, all the rest of the time, getting it in and working the right angles and doing what it is that you need to be doing. And because you've done that, you've earned it. And you feel as though you've earned it. You hold yourself with a higher prestige. You go out, you think you're the fucking man, because you are. And you enjoy the time far more than the person who goes out 4 days a week and does fuck all with their time. The person who does that, look, you can do whatever you like. I'm not here to tell you that. But to be honest, because I don't live my life that way, I can't direct an opinion towards that, other than if you don't work for yourself, then you should probably work for yourself. And what I mean by that is just fucking read a book. Just read a book, yeah? Anyway, I'm not trying to call anyone out. When you enjoy that time that much, the byproduct of that is that you kind of want to go back, because now you're back to Monday, when you're watching David Goggins in the morning and Joe Rogan in the evening, and you're spending your time doing your notes and you're reading, you're writing, and you're blah, 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 going to the gym, whatever. Because it's back to that, then you go, oh man, I wish it was Saturday because that was such a good time. So what I'm learning to do and what I'm getting to here is the fact that I think this is the contract that you sign. I think that you work and you do your bit and you get your graft in, and that is where the enjoyment of the great stuff comes from. You have to endure the monotonous and the minute and the just the day-to-day things where you're just putting your work in. You have to endure that until you enjoy it, which you do enjoy it, because I will come forth and say that though at this point in time it's a bit harder for me to grasp that actually I do quite enjoy the graft. I do enjoy the graft, and you do. You would much rather do it than not do it, and I can say with certainty that if you just sat in bed all day and did fuck all, you'd feel shit about it, and you go, oh, fuck me, man. I want to do something. I want to get some work in, and that's the thing. Is I think in a weird way we kind of enjoy the unenjoyable without realizing. Now, what I mean by that is you kind of don't know. I've been hit recently with a sort of epiphany that actually the work I've put in for the last however many years really has put me in a good position. And that kind of just came out of nowhere. Like, obviously you have the journey and you have these progressing states in which you feel more and more capable. But then I kind of came to this point where I just realized I was like, doing all right. And that moment, you kind of have to do all of the stuff to get there, and then that moment is worth it because it feels so good. You feel so competent in yourself. So I think what I'm trying to get at here, as best as I can, is you don't have to enjoy life to enjoy life. I think sometimes people can err on the side that we have to enjoy life all the time because it's such a gift. Yes, it is. It's the fucking blessing of all blessings. It is a fantastic opportunity to have, and you should relish it as best as you possibly can. But it's not all rosy, and sometimes it's not all good. It's just not. You're not always going to feel amazing about things, and that's fine. And this is the thing: is you do the work, you might not feel great about it. You enjoy the weekend, and maybe because the weekend was so good, you feel a bit, oh, I wish I was back there. But then you learn to enjoy things more as a result of that. And this is where I'm trying to go with this. Is the more that you put yourself in positions where you recognize, this is great, I really enjoy this, the more you kind of learn to savor them as best as you can. And what I'll call back to, the last video I spoke about the power of time. And I think that the more times that you put yourself in a position where you have a really good time, and then maybe you go, oh man, I wish I was back there, the more you're going to recognize that you have good times all the time. And an angle that I would call to is to recognize as best as you can, and this is something that I do try and do, is that the moment before you're doing something is the best moment of all. And the moment after that, when you've got the next time to come, is the best moment of all. It's this moment that is the best one. You know, say for instance, you're going to see your friends tonight. You're going to the gym with your friends and you're going to have a great time. It's 7 o'clock you're going, and it's 5:30 now. This window is the one where you have the most joy of what is to come, because it's there, but it's not quite there. You know it's coming, but it's not quite there yet. It's like Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve is so much better than Christmas morning because it's nearly there, but it's not quite there. You've got the time, and that angle is applicable in all senses, because say you get to Christmas Day Eve and it's the end of the night, you've got that time there just to savor as much as you can, and then be okay with the fact that it's gone. And I suppose that's the thing, is being okay with time passing, not trying to cling to the moment. Because by clinging to the moment, as I said at the start of this ramble, is by clinging to the moment, you lose touch with the moment. So you just, as best as you can, you recognize I'm in a good position right now, I'm enjoying time, and then you let go and you just enjoy it. I'm going to go off on a little bit of a tangent because I haven't done that this video. Um, put yourself towards something. Put yourself towards something and let it grow. I honestly think that life presents you answers that you wouldn't recognize it would present you until you're there. And I do really think there's a power in time. I think there's an immense power in these lessons that we learn, these difficulty that we learn, this difficulty that we endure, rather, is because of these moments that we go, oh, I wish I was there, or oh, that hurts, or oh, this, that, good moments, bad moments alike. The more experience you have, the more you have opportunity to learn. And with opportunity to learn comes a higher capacity to enjoy what's next. If you endure pain, you, of all people, recognize that this moment that's a good one is fantastic. And what I'd like to call to here is there is no better moment than now. Irrespective of what I've said this video, in the fact that you might be bummed out about something, this is a very strange territory to get into, so I'm going to try and navigate it as best as I can. Even when you feel bad, you have every reason to feel good. Now, what I mean by that is, this is the convoluted part, is say something tragic has happened to you, something truly terrible has happened to you. In that moment, there is no room for going, oh, well, la-di-da-di-da. No, you're not going to do that. If something bad's happened, and I don't give a fuck what anyone says, you're not going to feel good about that. That's fine. That's the way it should be. That's why your emotions are there. But what this opens you up to is a recognition of things. It's the opportunity to recognize life for what it is. And what happens with this is, though in the moment of terror and pain and destruction, you feel terrible, there comes a day in the future at some point where you feel a little bit better. And when you feel a little bit better about yourself, that moment is, it's almost worth it. It is worth it for the pain that you've experienced, because now you can see something that you couldn't before see. I would not trade a morsel of pain that I've experienced for an abundance of happiness, because the pain is what makes you happy. And this, I firmly believe this. This is something that I think is a cornerstone of life, is the fact that pain is a gateway to happiness. Pain is what affords you to be happy. I honestly believe that the more pain you endure, the more opportunity you have to be happy. Now, I can't speak on the drastic Nick Yaris levels of this pain. Mind you, he seems relatively happy. But I think just on a day-to-day, life-to-life, what you are to expect from this world, pain is going to occur. Pain is going to come your way. And with that comes an opportunity to become something that you are not. You cannot be tough at your heart and a hard worker and a hustler and someone who knows who it is that they are and knows the ground they stand on, knows where their feet are. You can't be that person if you haven't been put through it just a touch. You just can't be that person if you have not experienced either homemade adversity in the form of going and doing something for yourself and the difficulty that comes with that, or just life's difficulties, a loved one passing or whatever it is. If you haven't experienced that in some capacity, you haven't experienced life. You haven't experienced what it is that life can truly offer you, because you have to work for things and you have to get things. And what I realise over years of reflection is that you don't get it until you do. And you're going to spend so much time worried about whether you're going in the right direction, and worried whether you're doing the right thing, and feeling shit about doing the right thing. And you're going to have all these problems, and then all of a sudden it just falls into place, and you turn and you look and you realise, I'm doing all right. I'm doing much better than I was. And that's the thing. I would wish upon anyone that they recognise the capacity in adversity. Go and do something that puts you further ahead than who it is that you are. And a lesson that I've been thinking and percolating about this for fucking ages, to try and work out how to say this on the channel. And I'm going to kind of dip a toe here and then conclude, is you just have, what you think you know now and what you'll know in a year's time, so long as you stick the path, it's amazing. It is absolutely incredible. You just can't fathom it until you can. And this is what I mean with choosing to do better things for yourself, is it doesn't make sense, and it hurts, and it's painful, and you want to give up, and you don't even know whether this... I spent such a long time thinking, well, this isn't that painful, and then it was. And because of that, I realised, do you know what? Actually, I understand it. I understand what they're saying. The pain doesn't have to be in this one bundle of shit. It can be just the drudgery of day-to-day life when you're choosing to do things for yourself. And maybe the byproduct of you choosing to do things for yourself is a relationship falls apart or something like that. And by doing that, and by having that happen to you, you experience what it is that people are talking about. And that's the thing, is you don't experience it until you do. And when you do, you understand it. And I call that no one... Be a smart ass. Think what you think. Do what you do, and hold yourself to that regard. And then look back at yourself with the same perspective and think, wow, how much did I not know back then? And keep doing that. Be a fucking smart ass. Be someone who thinks that they know more than they do, and let yourself go through the flows with that. I spent a astronomical amount of time thinking that I knew as much as I know now. And the how hypocritical of a sentence is that in a year's time, I'll say the same thing. I will say the same thing about myself in a year's time. I'll think, wow, how much did you not know? And that is the call that you have to go for with this, is to open yourself up to just learning things, doing things, trying things, and thinking you know more than you do until you are more than you are. And that felt so much better than all the other videos where I try and do things fucking eloquently. I want to speak to you like you're my friend, because you are my friend. If you're here for this video, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And yeah, man, I'm going to call it there. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep going down this rabbit hole, and then I'm not going to have any more content. So, see you later, boys. See you later. See you later.